Hello, friends, and welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am your host, Tom Downey, back with some Cowboys news, in particular on the coaching staff. The biggest one as revealed, by Mike McCarthy today. Kellen Moore will be the play caller, not Mike McCarthy. That kind of flies in the face of what McCarthy had previously indicated his plans were going to be, that a coach who had always called the plays in Green Bay, he's going to let Kellen Moore call it. Now, the terminology for the Dallas Cowboys will stay the same. That will make life easier on Dak Prescott on this offense as McCarthy comes in. The offense will be adjusted. We'll have more of a West Coast style feel. More on that coming up. And there will be McCarthy influence as opposed to a Jason Garrett influence. But Kellen Moore will be calling the plays. Here's what McCarthy said. Kellen was someone I was watching from afar. The opportunity to work with Kellen was something I was going to pursue either way, regardless of what opportunity worked out for myself. Now, before we get to the next graphic, remember, Kellen Moore clearly had more control in the offense at the beginning of the year than he did at the end. I believe that the Jason Garrett-led game planning room adjusted things. So keep that in mind when we go through. As I mentioned in today's live video, I was looking up some of the Bill Walsh West Coast principles. Number 1, run the ball successfully versus often, i.e., if it's not working, you can abandon the run. If it is working, stay with it. Utilize pre-snap motion. Run the play-action pass or the play pass. There was a different term back then. It basically called to just a simple play-action drop back or a play-action rollout. Either way, utilize the play-action pass. Throw the ball early in downs because teams are expecting the runs, and it will work out. And opponents can't randomize in a true way, i.e., if they call a blitz on the first play, there's not going to be a blitz on the second play. Or if they didn't call a blitz in the red zone, there's probably going to be a blitz coming up. Those are Bill Walsh tenets and principles, which sound a lot like some of the elements that Kellen Moore brought in this past year. Now, the Cowboys' offense fundamentally was not broken. Did it need upgrades? Did it need to be better? Yes. I like the designs of Kellen Moore's offense. I thought there were times in which he didn't call the right plays or got too cute with it. Things that often happen when you have a first-time play caller. But it was clearly better across the board compared to Scott Linehan. Yes, the offense succeeded against bad defenses. I'll make note, guys, that's what good teams do. They dominate lesser opponents. They have to be better against better teams. But I'll let you guys in on a secret. Every single team in the NFL plays better against bad teams than they do against good teams. That's how football literally works. So Kellen Moore calling the plays. Is this a good move or a bad move? I was certainly surprised by it. I thought McCarthy was going to call the plays. I am inclined for now to give McCarthy the benefit of the doubt and trust him. I liked Kellen Moore as an offensive coordinator this year. He is still raw. Make no mistake about that. I think Mike McCarthy will be a much better influence than what Jason Garrett was. He is raw, but he's also gifted. So between the two, I'm going to go with good move, even if I am surprised by it. But I'll make this the pinned comment, so if you get an ad break here on YouTube, scroll down and comment right there. Over to the defensive side of the football now. Mike Nolan, and this again came from Mike McCarthy, the base defense will have 4 defensive linemen, meaning the Cowboys are going to stay in a 4-3 base defense. Now, despite the 4-3 base being the same, it is going to be different. The defense, unlike the offense, and like the special teams, defense special teams combined there will be major changes. They will be more multiple. The scheme will change. The roles, assignments, the expectations, they will be different, and that was needed. So DeMarcus Lawrence will still be a hand-in-the-dirt defensive lineman, not that his role would have really changed. Malik Collins, Antoine Woods, looks lots of free agents there. You do still need 2 gappers. So if you wanted a big boy defensive lineman like I have for years, that is still on the menu. You still need to find defensive linemen who are going to be able to clog running lanes and 2-gap, take on the gaps in between multiple offensive linemen, absorb linemen and keep your linebackers free. That is still going to be a staple of this defense. But DeMarcus will have his hand on the ground. It also means Jalen Smith will stay at middle linebacker. He will not be moving to an edge rusher spot. You're not going to make him into a 4-3 rusher. Could he still blitz? Yes. In fact, I think that he will. But your linebacking core isn't going to change drastically in the 4-3 defense. You're going to be banking long-term on Jalen Smith, Leighton Vander Esch, Sean Lee if he comes back as a backup/spot starter if there are injuries and, in base defensive looks. Now, if it's your first time watching the show, we cover everything here on the Dallas Cowboys. Free agency targets, cuts, trade ideas, all of those are coming up. So if you want to watch them, hit the big red button and subscribe. That way you know the second we put out those videos for you on the Cowboys Report. Some more coaching changes and hires coming in. This one had not been mentioned whatsoever. Mike McCarthy's brought in one of his former players, Al Harris. I think you guys remember him. He is going to be the assistant defensive backs coach, a role he held with the Chiefs from 2013 to 2018. 14-year veteran of the NFL, multi-time Pro Bowler. Most recently was a defensive assistant with Florida Atlantic when the Chiefs' defensive coaching staff was drastically overhauled back in 2018. He will be an assistant defensive backs coach. More on the full list here in a second. Maurice Linguist will be the official defensive backs coach. Before we dive into those other coaches, I have a gift alert for you guys, a deal alert, if you will. Chatsports.com/gift2. That is that t-shirt hat combo. We told you about this before Christmas, sold out quickly. It is back for now. 50% off, $20 for both of those items. Yeah, it's a fantastic deal. It's chatsports.com/gift2. Check the comments, check the description. Got the link there for you guys to go click and shop. All right, more Cowboys coaches. Skip Peete is in as he is making a repeat appearance with the Dallas Cowboys. Wow, nobody left in the office. He comes in as the new running backs coach. He coached, by the way, with Mike McCarthy in the early 1990s. A very fun staff because you had, at various points, Skip Peete, Mike McCarthy, John Gruden, Marvin Lewis, and Chris Peterson, who, of course, was Kellen Moore's coach at Boise State. So the connections there, very fascinating to me. Pete comes over from the LA Rams, where he was the RB coach from 2016 through 2019. Bears coach before that. There was also the Cowboys coach, as mentioned, 2012. Raiders, UCLA before that. Pete comes in. They tried to get Stan Drayton. He chose to stay at Texas. Pete will replace Gary Brown. So kind of a fun little full circle move there because Gary Brown came in to replace Skip Peete. So are you mad that Gary Brown is gone? Type Y for yes or N for no. Look, I don't think it's any kind of major change. I think Skip Pete's a good coach. I thought Gary Brown was a good coach. I'd rather have a coach in there who the main head coach wants. I don't want friction there if I can avoid it. So am I a bit disappointed? Sure, I like Gary Brown. Am I mad? No, absolutely not. All right, tight ends coach. That's next here. Lunda Wells, fun name. Was the Giants tight end coach the past 2 years, was the assistant O-line coach before that. He also, by the way, served as the Cowboys offensive line intern back in 2010 in training camp. So kind of funny, and that comes full circle here. He's actually one of the younger coaches on the new Mike McCarthy staff. He's only 36 years old, so it's funny to me how that ended up turning out. I'm curious to see how he fits coming over from the Giants. It's an interesting career move from Lunda Wells, but he's mostly been an O-line coach, but tight ends past 2 years, and frankly, I thought did a good job of maximizing some guys not named Evan Ingram on that roster. He's also spent a variety of jobs. LSU he was assistant special teams and O-line coach, but he was also basically the Les Miles assistant. He was heavily involved working with Les Miles, Giants coach before that, so there is some college connection there, as there have been for a couple of the Cowboys coaching staff moves. So here's where we sit right now. The current expected Cowboys coaching staff. Not all of these are 100% official, but, read between the lines, guys. McCarthy, Kellen Moore, OC and play caller, go figure. Mike Nolan's the DC. John Fossil, the special teams coach. Then the assistants. Doug Nussmeier becomes quarterbacks coach. Skip Peete becomes the running backs coach. Lunda Wells is your new tight ends coach. Joe Philbin, he will run the offensive line because Mark Colombo is out. Onto the defensive side of the ball. Jim Tomsula will be your D-line coach. Scott McClurley will be your linebackers coach. Maurice Linguist and Al Harris will run the defensive backs. And Jeff Blasco is now an assistant offensive line coach. So grade the coaching staff hires so far for me. A, B, C, D, or F? Where do you guys check in? You can also weigh in the fact that Kellen Moore, not Mike McCarthy, which did surprise me, will be the play caller for the Dallas Cowboys. A means you love it. It's the best thing ever. F means you want Jason Garrett back. No one's going to type in F. I think a B is maybe a little more of a reasonable, fair grade for the Cowboys. Now, one of the only spots left unfilled on this Cowboys coaching staff, Adam Henry. He is currently the Browns wide receivers coach. He did interview with the Cowboys for the same job in Dallas. However, he is also going to go back and meet with the Cleveland Browns and could elect to stay with one of his longtime pupils, Odell Beckham Jr., he of recent arrest warrant fame. Now, the Browns receivers underachieved this year. That's a big red flag for me. No connection, so I'm curious as to how Mike McCarthy targeted Henry, but got a decent track record. Browns receivers coach, Giants receivers coach. Frankly, I don't know if starting Shepard was as good once Henry left. Quarterback played a big factor there. Niners receivers coach, LSU receivers coach from 2012 to 2014, and we know that program produced quite a few good receivers. So I am curious to see what ends up happening here with Adam Henry. If he comes in, your coaching staff would basically be set in Dallas. Let's talk about Jason Witten now, because we don't know what's going to happen there. Now, McCarthy spoke to Witten and Dak Prescott. Side note, by the way, I don't know why people made a big deal of McCarthy not calling Dak Prescott first thing. Why call a sure thing? Exactly. There's no need to there. That's a note. It's not a big deal. It was never a big deal. Dak's not going anywhere. Now, for Witten, his future very much unclear. McCarthy said Witten has a lot going on right now. What does that mean? I have no idea what that means. Like, what is Witten exploring other coaching opportunities? I don't know. I thought he could be a Cowboys coach. Is he going to go back into broadcasting? He was horrible. Is he going to retire yet again? Maybe a lot going on is we have no idea what's going on for Jason Witten. Now, do you want Witten back as a member of the Dallas Cowboys tight end room as a player? Type 1 for yes, 2 for no. You can bring back Jason Witten, but he cannot be your number one tight end. Between the two, got to be Blake Jarwin. It has to be. Witten is a progress blocker now, or a progress stopper. So you can bring him back, but he cannot be your starting tight end. It's not going to work out in the end for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, today's show is brought to you by BetDSI. Head over to chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code Cowboys120 for a 120% deposit bonus. If you put down $50, they're going to give you $60 for free. That's chatsports.com/bet, promo code Cowboys120. Another news item here of the non-coaching variety, Zack Martin underwent cleanup surgery on his ankle back on Tuesday. He will be ready to return before training camp. So there's nothing to freak out about with Zack Martin. Unlike maybe the Leighton Vander Esch surgery, this one really is minor. It's your ankle, a little cleanup. And I think even most importantly, his back and elbow injuries that he dealt with for a good portion of the season, those do not need surgery. Now, he was a Pro Bowler for the 6th straight year. Of course, he will not go to the Pro Bowl because he had surgery. And you're hoping that your interior offensive linemen can get healthy in time for camp. Connor Williams-McGovern coming off injuries of their own. Zack Martin surgery, and hopefully an entire offseason of Frederick recovering from a season and not Guillain-Barré syndrome will also be a big boost to a Cowboys offensive line that wasn't as good as it once was, but should still be among the NFL's very best. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.